The Epstein debacle continues its miserable optics with the latest event occurring on the House floor, where House Republicans voted unanimously to block the release of the Epstein files.
On this vote, the yeas are 211, the nays are 210. The previous question is ordered. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
This follows the same trend from the previous night, where the House Rules Committee voted 7-5 to also block a Democratic amendment by Rep. Khanna. This amendment in particular would force the DOJ to release all Jeffrey Epstein files within 30 days. However, with some nuance, as the vote was to attach the amendment to a stablecoin in defense bill.
That's some bullshit.
Tim Pool sprinted to the defense of such actions, stating that the Khanna amendment would have forced the DOJ to publish everything. Khanna was asking the DOJ to publish videos of children being assaulted on a public website, only to be called out by legal expert Robert Barnes, who says this is incorrect by Timcast. Khanna bill does not require disclosure of any CP. Which I don't know about you, but I'm going to believe Mr. Barnes over Mr. Beanie. Furthermore, longtime friend of Robert Barnes, Viva Fry, writes that if true, it would be exceptionally easy to fix and amend. Quote, literally nobody wants to see CP or CSAM.
Literally no one.
However, Marjorie Taylor Greene went on Benny Johnson's show shortly after the blocked vote, saying that everyone is misinterpreting what the vote was about.
I got to correct something real quick.
Please.
So it's being reported that House Republicans unanimously voted to block the release of the Epstein files, and I want to straighten out the record right now. That is not true. If I could vote, okay. If I could vote to release the Epstein files, guys, you would have my vote. I would vote yes. Here's what just happened. It was a procedural vote, and we have these all the time. It's called a PQ. It's voting on the previous question. And if the Democrats had won the previous question, which I know sounds insane, it's one of these crazy rules in the House that are hard to understand, that means they would control the House floor. And that means they could bring up anything. They could bring up impeachment articles against President Trump. They could bring up a whole package of insane Democrat agenda items and force votes on the House floor on these things. That's what we voted against. We never allowed Democrats to have control of the House floor because we control the House floor.
Yes.
So it's a misunderstanding, and I just wanted to straighten that out.
Which I am not taking as truth. And as the comment section has pointed out, where is the Republican version of the amendment if the issue is to avoid Democrat House control? And zooming out to see the big picture doesn't make it any prettier. Not only have we flipped from there's nothing to see here to there's a list, but the Democrats made it up, Trump was ratioed for the first time in history over this on his own platform, Truth Social, for suggesting such nonsense. Luckily, this did spurn some level of change in approach from the Trump administration, but is ultimately more theater and charades.
Do they think I'm stupid?
Especially given the report from Dominic Michael Trippi that says, quote, President Trump reportedly called several prominent conservative influencers and told them to ease criticism regarding Jeffrey Epstein case.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Continuing this trend, Donald Trump doubles down on the files being made up by Democrats.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release, yeah.
Now causing some of the more loyal Trump supporters to be suspect, with Scott Adams writing, the new ass-covering story is the Epstein files were made up by Democrats. I expect better bullshit from my president. For starters, never preface your bullshit with, I would say. Mike Cernovich even more simply, Why he's doing this is anyone's guess. I truly am speechless. Cernovich isn't alone either. According to a Morning Consult poll, Trump's approval rating has fallen from 50% to 44% just from the middle of June to July. Joining Cernovich, Matt Walsh gives a pleasantly surprising and robust rebuke of the Trump administration's actions.
The fact remains that, especially after the humiliating display by Bondi and the DOJ we've all just witnessed, it's probably worth listening to Maxwell's testimony. If a client list exists at this point, she's the most likely person to tell us. Now, yes, it's an indictment of Pam Bondi and the DOJ that we see any reason to listen to a ghoul like this, but that's where we are. Millions of Americans are not satisfied with what we've been told. And we shouldn't be, because it's been contradictory and insulting to our intelligence every step of the way. So now we're looking elsewhere. This is what happens when people are deceived and strung along for years, only to be told that they're not entitled to any kind of transparency whatsoever. People are not just going to move on with their lives, no matter how badly you want them to. And there's a reason for that. And I want to make this very clear to those on the right, including the president himself, who are telling us to just drop the subject and move on. We can't drop it. We can't move on, because what we want is justice. We have a deep desire for justice. And we can see how the corrupt and the powerful are never held accountable. We can look at our cities and see violent criminals running rampant in the streets, also not held accountable. We want these evildoers to be punished. We want the innocent to be defended. We want justice. It's one of the most basic and most honorable of all human desires. We want to see that justice is done. We want to know who else was in those awful videos that Pam Bondi told us about. And we want those people to be dragged in front of us, weeping and begging for mercy. We want them exposed and humiliated and shamed and punished in the harshest and most painful way, because that's justice. And we're not going to drop the subject until we get it. So unseal everything, including the search warrants and the financial disclosures. Tell us what exactly was in those truckloads of documents that you recovered in New York. Show us the phase 2 Epstein files that you told us about just a few months ago. In other words, don't give us any more excuses from bureaucrats on Fox News. Don't give us any more stonewalling and doublespeak. We've seen more than enough of that in this case and so many others. Instead, for a change, give us something we're not used to seeing from the federal government and the DOJ. Give us justice.
And to add a cherry on top of everything that was presented here, Pam Bondi refused to answer questions about Epstein at a DOJ press conference and even scoffed at the idea of her not being AG.
Madam Attorney General, on this matter of fentanyl, which is a priority clearly for the DEA, Department of Justice, are you confident you're going to still be here to execute this? Because there's so many people calling for change at the Department of Justice.
I'm going to be here for as long as the president wants me here, and I believe he's made that crystal clear. It's 4 years, well, 3.5 now, right? We've got 6 months in, and it feels like 6 years. But I was with Director Patel this morning, and we are working on fighting violent crime. We are working on all these issues that we deeply care about to make America safe again and get these drugs off our streets. You know, we've been working on this since my really last 2 years. Fentanyl was coming on the market when I was State Attorney General. And now with these cartels, it's coming back. It's coming in more than ever. And the border has stopped that, but we're going to catch them and we're going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Yes, sir.
To conclude, I am certain at this point that there is a cover-up taking place in front of the American public. And to what end our government will go to bury these items, it is what I believe we are witnessing now. The closest we have ever been to being asked to say there are 5 lights. Let me know what you guys think, if I missed anything, and I will see you all in the comments. Peace.